Okay, good evening. Can we start?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
start.
Good evening to my distinguished guests. My name is Vinod Narona from the Bombay Catholic Sabha, and I have been given the privilege to be the moderator for today's Interreligious Dialogue meeting. This meeting is organized by the Interreligious Dialogue Commission and the Bombay Catholic Sabha, a very important program which is the need of the hour. A few etiquettes I would like to say. When a speaker is talking, I would request all the other participants to keep their mic on mute. Thank you. Secondly, each speaker will get a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. At the 8th minute, I will be interrupting and telling them it's 8 minutes is over. If you speak for less than 8 minutes, also no problem. You are well heard and appreciated. But these are the two very, very important points I would like to make. And as and when we go, if there is a speaker missing in our list, we will go to the next speaker and consider getting the original speaker back. So with this, good evening to everybody, and let us have a very good interreligious meeting on the 75th eve of our Independence Day. We will start with our Sabha anthem. Alexo, can we have the Sabha anthem, please? Alexo?
Yeah.
Alexo, there's no volume.
Go in that room.
I have sent now. You know what? I have gone to office that day asking for occupancy. They say the occupancy should be builder should be with us, not with the society.
May I request all participants to please keep their mic on mute.
I sent now what I got. I went to the full.
Back to you, Vinod.
Thank you, Alexo, for the Sabha anthem. May I call upon our Bombay Catholic Sabha President, Advocate Brenel Desouza, to give the welcome address. Advocate Brenel, sir, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Vinod. Thank you, Alexio. We are in digital world. Sometimes the digital world doesn't prevent us to move forward in a manner that we want to move forward. That is why perhaps you saw the Sabha anthem but the volume could not get across to all of us. Sorry for that. My dear friends, respected speakers, the principal office bearers of both the Bombay Catholic Sabha and the Interreligious Dialogue Commission of the Archdiocese of Bombay, led by Reverend Father Michael, and all my dear participants. Tomorrow we are celebrating the 76th Independence Day of our country. Now, India is a plural country with diverse religions. Mahatma Gandhi says that the essence of all religion is one. The approaches of all religions to go to God is different. Now, what is that essence? I think Dalai Lama has expressed the essence of all religions beautifully. He says the essence of all religions is love, compassion, and tolerance. Then he says the clear proof of a person's love of God is if that person generously shows love to his fellow human beings. The Bombay Catholic Sabha has organized this interreligious event on the eve of our 76th independence as a reminder to all of us that as a plural religious country, if we need to take forward our country for greater heights, we need to inculcate what Dalai Lama has explained as the essence of all religions. The challenge for me while organizing this interreligious program was first to select a theme. And I must thank Father Cedric Prakash for helping me into this. The next challenge for me was to select the speakers or elect or request the speakers. I must thank Father S.M. Michael, my own friend in the All India Catholic Union, the past president, Dr. John Dayal, also the past Supreme Court advocate Nadisha Dondi, and our own past president, Dr. Dolphy De Souza, for suggesting the names of these distinguished speakers who will present their perspective of the pluralism of our country and how that is a strength. If all of you go back today with the understanding of real India, with the diverse religions, the credit will go to all the excellent speakers that we have lined up for you. And if there are any shortcomings, my back is there to flop. With this, I welcome all of you to this interreligious meeting, and let us listen and enrich ourselves by participating in a distinguished manner and dignified manner in this program. Thank you very much and welcome once again. Yeah, over to Vinod.
Thank you, President. That was a very positive note to start the conference. And a very big takeaway is essence of all religion is one. I now call upon Reverend Father S.M. Michael from IRDC to give his opening remarks. Welcome, Father S.M. Michael.
Thank you very much. Advocate Raphael, the President of Bombay Catholic Sabha, Father Aniceto, our mentor in Interreligious Dialogue Commission, and all the speakers, distinguished speakers, and our friends. Yeah, we are entering 75 years of our independence. And when we look back our history, we begin to see the struggle we went through in getting or obtaining the independence of our country. Especially in 1930s, there were several conflicts between various religious groups, and we have to find a way how we could live together. And later on, the Constitution was formed to unite all of us as Indians. But today we are celebrating our independence. So during this time, we need to look at our country, look at every person who belongs to this country. And we see, though formally we have freedom, but yet there are thousands, millions of people who are not experiencing this real freedom. So our commitment today, as we celebrate the independence of our country, how to bring this freedom from oppression, freedom from hunger, freedom from any kind of oppression, that we need to go a long way to achieve that. So one of the ways to achieve this goal of freedom for everybody is to recognize India is a country with many cultures, many religions, many ethnic communities, many languages. And if we deny this, and if we are not able to accept this pluralism, then we will be regressing. We will not be progressing. That's why in the recent days, articles in the newspapers, we begin to get several articles stressing the importance of celebrating our pluralism. That is the only way we will be able to move ahead. And we can be a model country for the world today, where the populations are getting mixed up. Pluralism is increasing all over the world. And India has a long experience of living with many cultures, many religions, many ethnic communities. But we are facing today a big problem of majoritarianism. So that is why this topic is very vital for us to reflect, to celebrate our independence. So I wish every best for the organizers and all the speakers and all those who are listening, that we may take big lessons from today's event and celebrate our independence. Thank you very much.
Vinod?
Vinod?
So Vinod is muted.
Muted.
Unmute.
Vinod, you are
Vinod,
muted.
are you there?
You should unmute, yeah.
जरा नीचे करो आवाज. आवाज नहीं आ आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
आएगा.
I can hear you. I can. आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
मेरे को नहीं आती है.
मुझे तो स्पष्ट सुनाई दे रहा है.
Roshan.
I am not able to hear anything.
I can hear you, Mr. Yadevanand ji. I can hear everybody. I heard also the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can hear all you people talking. I'm just waiting. Vinod, I think, got disconnected. He's joining, I think. Just wait.
Yeah.
I'll stay muted.
Stanley, can you take can you move to the next item? Because if others are not coming in.
Okay, I think everybody can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think
Yes, I can
Vinod
hear
is
you.
temporarily disconnected, so I think we will move ahead with the program, and we would start off with today's program. And at this point of time, I would like to call upon Professor Vibhuti Patel to start off the program and give her view on how
Yeah.
do we stand today.
Sandy, all speakers were to be introduced by Vinod. I think he is, getting this one. Madam will introduce you. Vinod will join and introduce you to a
No,
little later. But in the meantime,
I am already online, sir.
I think Vinod has already joined.
all right. Start, Vinod.
Yeah. We have a very good list of speakers today. Can we have the picture of Dr. Vibhuti on the screen? Alexo,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see Dr. Vibhuti Patel.
yes, I will give a brief about Dr. Vibhuti. She is a PhD in economics and presently the Vice President of Indian Association of Women's University.
Studies.
A visiting professor for many colleges, a prolific writer, and she is on the editorial board of several journals, including the International Journal of Economics, Education and Development at Switzerland, a social activist and humanist. She will speak on today's subject, giving us her Hindu perspective. Dr. Vibhuti, the stage is all yours. 8 minutes is yours, 2 minutes is mine. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Vinod, for such a introduction of mine. And respected advocate Brenel Desouza, Father S.M. Michael, Father Cedric Prakash, Professor Brenel Desouza, Ms. Shilpa Chatta, Ms. Surinder Kaur, Mr. Javed Anand, Mr. Ezekiel Isaac, Dr. Merchant, A.K. Merchant, Dr. Darayas Katra, and Dr. Gautham Nigam, my co-panelists. I congratulate Bombay Catholic Sabha for much needed interreligious meeting on crucial theme of religious pluralism is a strength for our nation on the eve of 75th Independence Day of India. I thank organizers for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts on this historic moment. Father S.M. Michael's opening remarks have set the tone for what we are facing in current situation of majoritarianism. As against that, religious pluralism, as we understand, is an attitude of an individual or society. Life worlds of individuals are influenced greatly by how democratic they are vis-a-vis diverse faiths, lifestyles, food habits, cultural practices, choice of life partners, and the state policy regarding the diversity of religious belief systems and practices go a long way in ensuring harmoniously coexisting in society. Our constitutional morality, as Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar also stated, it motivates us to see religious pluralism as a dialogue based and focusing on energetic engagement with diversity, active seeking of understanding across lines of peaceful coexistence among people with plural cultural and religious heritage. I grew up in a Vaishnava family. My childhood was socially constructed by religious investment of Hindu Vaishnavism, and I grew up singing Vaishnava Janato, the English translation of that favorite bhajan of Mahatma Gandhi, which says that, and it goes like this, that one who is Vaishnav, a devotee of Vishnu, knows the pain of others, does goods to others without letting pride enter his or her mind. A Vaishnav respects and praises everyone, doesn't speak ill of others, keeps his or her promises, actions, and thoughts pure. His or her mother is blessed indeed. A Vaishnav sees everything equally, rejects greed and avarice, respects women as he respects his own mother. Though his tongue may tire, he will not utter untruth. never touches the property of others. Vaishnav doesn't succumb to worldly attachments. He or she has to renounce lust of all types and anger. The poet Narsi Mehta will like to see such a person who, by whose virtue the entire family gets salvation. So I think this set the tone, and in my growing up, in my socialization, it played a very important role in the way I shaped my life. These verses crystallize all liberating aspects of Hinduism. There are several streams in Hinduism, Hindu religion practices. As you know, that we have 36 crore gods and goddesses, and all of them had a very different lifestyle, and their likes and dislikes were also defined in a very varied way. So we grew, so pluralism is inbuilt in Hindu practices and Hindu religions, religious practices. Messages of flowing like Sanskrit verses from scriptures played a defining role in construction of human persona in Hinduism. Sa vidyaya vimuktaye, knowledge liberates. Vidya vinayena shobhate, knowledge and wisdom suit well to those who are humble and polite. Yesham na vidya, na tapo na danam, jnanam na shilam, na guno na dharma. Te mrityu loke bhumi bharabhuta, manushya rupena mrugascharanti. That means those who do not have learning, have no austerity, do not give to charity, have neither knowledge nor character, have no good qualities, no righteousness. They on this earth are being burdensome and in the form of people, but they are people, but they are animals who just graze, simply graze, don't give back anything to the world. When it comes to the Hindu worldview, the concept which Gandhiji popularized of a Sarvodaya, the economic and social development of community as a whole, especially as advocated by Gandhiji, and especially he brings it up even in his most controversial booklet, Hindu Swaraj, Home Rule. And he also popularized another term called Antyodaya, means uplifting of weakest section of society. And Sarvodaya is a border term which means development of all. Gandhiji's idea of development of Sarvodaya through Antyodaya as an idea inspired was from John Ruskin, because Gandhiji always said that I will take all the best practices of all religions and then, but I will not get swayed by it. I will use my critical faculty. The concept of Ardhanarishwara in Hinduism, which means that the half female, half male Lord is a form of Hindu deity Shiva combined with his consort Parvati, and Ardhanarishwara is depicted as a half male, half female, equally split down the middle. The right half is usually a male and the left half is a female. And this also says that everyone, including, we should get beyond the gender binary of man and women, even the transgender, all of them we can coexist peacefully, and everyone should have all opportunities. The another very extremely popular saying which you generally get in prayers, no, in most of the schools, is the Om Sahana Bhavatu. May all and everything be happy. Sarve Santu Niramaya. May all be free from illness. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. May all see what is auspicious and look after well-being of others. Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavit. That means let nobody suffer, and have empathy for others, as I think in the Advocate Raphael also talked about. Sanskrit lyrics of Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Ma Mamrutam Gamaya, Om Shanti 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 talks about that we want to go from ignorance to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality, and let peace prevail everywhere. I support religious pluralism, believe that all religions and denominations can lead one to truth, justice, peace, harmony, and that human essence reveals that itself in various geographical locations via various entities and various circumstances. By practicing religious plurality, we convey that the same ultimate reality is interpreted validly but differently by diverse religions and denominations, and that no one religion or denomination is a sole proprietor of truth. Moreover, agnostics and atheists trend within the Indian civilization, within the world civilization is equally valuable as for them essence of humanism and egalitarianism are the most important. So even atheists and agnostics, there should not be any persecution of any human being for their personal beliefs. For religious persons, pluralism conveys that there is more than one way to salvation, harmonious coexistence, shared concepts, cooperation, understanding, and respecting otherness of others would result in justice, freedom, peace for all humankind. All of us, whether in any religion, they talk about social justice, gender justice, environmental justice, economic justice, and distributive justice. So for me, the way I see Hindu religion is which promotes peace and justice, and also equal, not only tolerance, because when we talk of tolerance, this thing, but it should be peaceful coexistence. Instead of tolerance, we should talk about tolerance. Looks a very majoritarian, like a paternalistic, that you are tolerating somebody, but it's a question of peaceful coexistence. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor. You made it in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Brilliant. Thank you. Let's go to the second speaker. Do we have Mr. Javed Anand on the stage? Is he there around?
He is there.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, Javed sir. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much. Bombay
आपका
Catholic
कैमरा तो ऑन कीजिएगा आप.
camera on तो है.
अच्छा.
He's visible. No, he's not. Now you're visible.
Let me introduce Mr. Javed Anand. He is a very senior journalist, humanist, founder of Sabrang Communications, General Secretary for Muslims for Secular Democracy. He is a social activist. And today, Javed sir will speak to us on the subject, giving his Muslim perspective. Welcome, Javed sir. Stage is all yours for 8 minutes.
It's a difficult proposition when you say I will be speaking from a Muslim perspective, and I'll tell you why. Are you able to hear me, all of you?
Yes, yes.
So first of all, my grateful thanks to Bombay Catholic Sabha for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to be with you all and share my views. Having said that, I find it difficult to say that what is a Muslim perspective, what is a Hindu perspective, what is a Christian perspective, etc. For the simple reason that Vibhuti, my friend Vibhuti Patel, for example, referred to Mahatma Gandhi. Father Michael referred to Dalai Lama and his concept of religion and so on. Now, the problem is that Gandhi ji was a Hindu, but his assassin Godse was also a Hindu. Dalai Lama is a Buddhist, but the Buddhists of Burma, Myanmar are doing what they're doing to the Rohingyas. So, it is not a question of whether religions teach this or that. It is a question of people like us, whether we come from a Hindu background, Muslim background, Christian background, or whatever, are how we choose to interpret our religion. And I do believe that it is possible for people from every religion to come around a perspective, to a common shared perspective, where we can actually live with mutual respect for each other, mutual peaceful coexistence, as Dr. Vibhuti Patel talked about. That is point number one. Point number two, which has already been referred to, is got to do the fact that for someone like me coming from an Abrahamic tradition, which means not just Islam but also Judaism and Christianity, India does appear to Hindu majority. India does to be a natural birthplace for religious pluralism. If we go back maybe just 80 or 100 years ago in time, the Indian subcontinent was probably the only country in the whole world where in every nook and the corner of the country you could find a masjid, you could find a mandir, gurdwara, church, and what have you. So it is very much a part of our lived experience, and this example of lived experience we get from time to time in our newspapers, which are kind of unfortunately buried on page 15 and page 19. on page 1, the news of hate and violence. I can, as a member of Indian Muslims for Secular Democracy, we have collected hundreds of examples of people helping each other, going across religion. Hindus giving land to a Muslim to build a mosque. Kashmiri Pandits kind of performing the funeral rites, Hindu funeral rites for a Kashmiri Pandit woman who has died. She happens to be the lone Muslim in a Hindu in a Muslim majority locality. Churches, gurdwaras, mosques, temples opening themselves up to people of other religions for prayers, for all kinds of services. So this is very much a part of our cherished tradition. Now, I come to the third and my last point in the given time that we have. I think religious pluralism, the concept of religious pluralism, our culture of religious pluralism is under threat at one level and faces a challenge at another. It is under threat from Hindutva, where the definition of what it means to be a Hindu, that somebody from the Bajrang Dal or a VHP or the RSS or the BJP would give, would be the diametric opposite of what friend Vibhuti Patel has said. So this is where the threat is coming to our pluralism, which threatens to kind of tear apart religious communities, and it is a challenge. It's a threat that we must, people from all religions must get together, must emphasize the humanistic, pluralistic aspects of their respective religions to meet this challenge, the threat of Hindutva. On the other hand, people of different religions are faced with the challenge of living in a secular society. By a secular society, I mean specifically in the context where the reference point, the essential reference point for a secular society, a secular dispensation is not communities. It's not a community of Hindus plus community of Muslims plus community of Christians, etc., but the individual human being. I'm sorry?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
But the individual human being. And this is where, just to take the very obvious example of personal laws, do Muslims and Christians and Hindus have the right to pursue their religion when aspects of it they define in a way that, for example, militates against any notion of gender justice and gender equality? This is a challenge that the Muslim community faces, the Hindu community has faced, the Christian community faces, the right to equal access to sacred spaces. Whether priests can be women or only men can be priests and Maulvis and pujaris or whatever it is. So the rights of sexual minorities, women's right to her own body, these are kind of secular challenges that people who otherwise subscribe to religious pluralism have to face and address. Sorry, so given that the lack of time, I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Javed ji. That was a good talk and within the time limit. Appreciate. The next two speakers are Dr. Brenel Desouza and after that is Dr. Gautham Nigam. Let's get to our third speaker, that is Dr. Brennel Desouza. Another towering personality. She is an MPhil. She is chairperson at Center for Health School of Social Work at Tata Institute of Social Science, coordinator of Justice Coalition Religious West India. That's a group of NGOs that are aggregated to collectively represent over 20 congregations of Roman Catholic women and men at United Nations. She is also the co-convener of Jan Swasthya Abhiyan, the local chapter of Global People's Health Movement, and many others. She will speak today on her subject, giving us her Christian perspective. Welcome, Dr. Brenel Desouza. Yes, you can continue, Brenel madam.
I think she is mute.
Dr. Brenel, please unmute yourself. Alexo, stop the sharing and go again on the main screen.
YouTube. Is she trying to share some PowerPoint?
No, I think Dr. Brennel is not seen on the participant list. She got disconnected.
No, she was there.
She was there, but now
Yeah,
I can't
she
see
was
her
there.
We can see
participant
her.
list.
She is
can
still
see
there.
her. Yeah, we can see.
I can see her still.
She's not visible to me.
She is visible very much to us.
My screen is showing white, blank.
Yeah. A PPT is showing white.
Okay, she's
Oh,
back now.
Okay,
She is back.
okay, okay.
Dr. Brennel, you have to unmute.
दरवाजा बंद कर.
Make it full screen. Make it full screen.
Yes, we can see the PPT.
Yeah, but
Yes,
make it
yeah,
full
the
screen.
PPT is visible. Make it press 5. Yeah.
She has to unmute to Dr. Brennel.
Yes.
No, you are still unmuted. I mean, you have to unmute yourself.
The speaker is in mute position.
The speaker is mute, yeah. No. These are the challenges of our digital platforms.
Then
I
Webex
suggest, we can go to the next speaker.
Yeah, in the meantime, Vinod, you can call the next speaker and we can have the presentation later.
Alexa, please get the PPT off the screen, please.
Speak to her on mobile and ask her to unmute her speaker.
Alexa,
Stop the screening, please.
Alexa, stop the screening and come back to the main participant. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. Let's go to our fourth speaker. That is Dr. Gautham Nigam. Good evening, Dr. Gautham. Dr.
Good
Gautham
evening,
holds,
please.
Dr. Gautham holds a doctorate from Department of Sociology, Mumbai University. He has taught in the SNDT University. He has retired from RBIP participation in interreligious meet. He's an activist in social religious fields to learn about different religions. Dr. Gautham Nigam will give us a Buddhist perspective on today's theme. Good evening, Dr. Nigam.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Once again, on the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee of our nation, I take this opportunity to wish you a happy Independent Day, a day advance. I am speaking from the Buddhist perspective, which has been told by the organizer. The Lord Buddha preached the Dhamma for 45 years. For Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya. Buddhism follows the goal of happiness and welfare of maximum number of people. His other Dhammapa says that Sabbadanam Dhammadanam Jinati, Sabbarasam Dhammarasam Jinati. The gift of truth excels all other gift. The flavor of truth excels all other flavor. The pleasure in truth excels all other pleasure. He who has destroyed the craving overcome all sorrows. Sabba papasa karanang kusalasya upasampada sachita paryodapanam etang buddhana sasana. Not to do any evil, to cultivate good, to purify one's mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Ashoka, the great Buddhist empire of the 3rd century, who was highly influenced by the kingly duties taught by Buddha's Dhamma and gave instruction in all his acts. His achievement and pronouncement has been influential up to the present day. The earliest reference to the Buddhist view on religious pluralism in a political sense is found in his aid. All religions should reside everywhere for all of them desire self-control and purity of heart. Contact between religions is good. One should listen to the respect the doctrine professed by others. Beloved of the god, King Piyadasi, that is Ashoka, desired that all should be well learned in the good doctrine of other religions. The promotion of harmony and toleration among the different religious sects and kindness toward animal life were two particular aspects of Dhamma to which Ashoka gave very special attention. These are the parts of which has been spoken on behalf of on the Ashoka's edict. What Buddha did for the humanity? Let him not destroy life, nor cause other to kill, nor approve to other kill. Let him refrain from oppressing all living beings in the world, whether strong or weak. This has been taken from the Sutta Nipata. The Buddha discussed the important and prerequisite of good government. He showed how the country should become corrupt, degenerate, and unhappy when the head of the government became corrupt and unjust. He spoke against corruption and how a government should act based on humanitarian principles. The Buddha once said, when the ruler of the country is just and good, the ministers become just and good. When the ministers are just and good, the higher officials become just and good. When the higher officials are just and good, the rank and file becomes just and good. When the rank and file becomes just and good, the people become just and good. This I have taken from the Anuttara Nikaya. On the basis of caste, the Buddha tore apart the hypocrisy of the day, asserting that all men are equal in the right to an open path to the highest truth, that everybody can achieve the path of Nibbana here, you understand. They could all attain. In our Indian Constitution, the Indian Constitution has a provision that provides for a legal equality to its citizens, regardless of their religion and creed, and prohibit religious-based discrimination. The provision of this Article 25 helps us to understand that one can freely profess, practice, and propagate one's own religion without interference of other religious groups, and can practice one's own faith peacefully without disturbing others. The doctrine of non-violence in Buddhism, the Buddha categorically denounced violence, himsa, and asked his followers to cultivate and practice non-violence towards all beings. He taught us to spread peace and goodwill among all without distinction. The Buddha once intervened in a dispute between the Shakya and Kolya, who were disputing over how the water of the river Rohini should be used in the time of drought. Both clans need water to irrigate their crops. The Buddha settled the argument by pointing out that the blood is far more precocious than the water, and thought that the mutual help is the best assistance one can give and obtain. A state which is established on social and moral intellectual principle can maintain order and peace. That nation will grow and prosperously when people can live harmoniously and happily. Buddhism, what ancient geopolitical tool that could still be employed to meet the challenges of the new millennium. The golden era in the history of India and other countries of Asia, the period where art, culture, education, and civilization reached the zenith, occurred at the time when Buddhist influence was stronger in their country. In the light of this advice, it is clear that the government should ensure a just and equal treatment to all citizens of there. This too will help to strengthen the nation. The tension going around us sought be out with the help of Dhamma and a dialogue to free of the tension. On the occasion of Diamond Jubilee of India, let us come forward to play a role, each of us, strengthen our country in the pandemic situation where lakhs of people's eyes are looking for help. No doubt, the role played by the state and its machinery attached to it has played its role. Yet, we have to not come out of this crisis. Let us, in one echo, support the cause and get the result which will help to develop and strengthen our country. I thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nigam. That was very brilliant, and our appreciation for that. Can we have Dr. Brenel back? Dr. Brenel, are you online?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry for the confusion earlier, not familiar with WebEx and couldn't unmute myself. Sorry for the...
Please go ahead. You already lost 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So can I...
Alexo? Alexo?
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Make it full screen. Make it, okay.
Yeah, I have made it full screen. Yeah.
We can see.
Yeah. So I want to thank the Bombay Catholic Sabha and the Archdiocese Commission for Interreligious Dialogue for inviting me to speak and share my Christian perspective. I mean, the brief I received from Raphael was to essentially discuss how the tenets of Christianity contribute to the strengthening of religious dialogue and religious pluralism. And I have prepared this presentation from a feminist biblical hermeneutics and biblical liberation hermeneutics standpoint. And so I mean, I will then move ahead and start with my presentation. And another thing that I have kept in mind is that there was a recent Pew research, which is a research on interreligious interreligious experiences of Indians on diversity and pluralism. And in the context of that research, it was essentially said that Indians, while they really cherish diversity and pluralism, many people don't know about other faith traditions. So I've also prepared my presentation from that standpoint. So India is a multicultural country, as we all know, and a diverse nation with a flourishing history of pluralism that has been thriving for thousands of years. And we have a very rich history of syncretic traditions. And even, our founding mothers and fathers, basically created a constitutional framework that recognized group differentiated rights. But today the country is facing, a number of challenges, which is actually threatening its fragile political consensus. And we are seeing religious bigotry, caste and communal-based violence, especially in the recent past, which is jeopardizing the legacy of our pluralism. And this growing intolerance and cultivated hatred, among various ethnic and religious groups are corroding and endangering the Indian polity. So, and here we are today on the eve of India's 75th independence, here committed to basically live up to the values in the Constitution and the values enshrined in the preamble, of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And if we are really to achieve this and make this a living reality, not only for ourselves, but for every Indian, then religious pluralism is something that we have to strongly, live by and promote among other issues of justice also. Now, coming to Christianity and religious pluralism and interreligious dialogue. So, what is our inspiration for engagement on religious pluralism and interreligious dialogue? I would say scripture, tradition, and teachings, or the encyclicals of the Pope, the Catholic social teaching, and I will just elaborate on some of that as I go forward. So, when we look at scripture, I mean. When we look at scripture, we are basically talking about, this very, very fundamental, text, which is in Genesis 1, which is part of the Old Testament. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And if one truly believes that every person has been created in the image of God, irrespective of their beliefs, irrespective of their social position, irrespective of, which cultures they belong to, then, we really need to strive for ensuring that everyone enjoys their fundamental rights and freedoms. And these fundamental rights and freedoms also have to do with religious expression, religious belief, because we have a shared humanity, we have a shared sisterhood, and we have a shared brotherhood. And poverty, inequality, injustice, discrimination, and basically erode human dignity and rob human beings of their personhood. And this concept is very closely aligned with the concept of equality and fraternity, which in the preamble. Now, coming to the New Testament, so Jesus has basically commanded us, love each other as I have loved you, unto the cross. So then if we are really to love as Jesus commanded us, okay, that total self-giving, selfless love and self-giving love, then obviously we have to consider every human being around us as a brother, as a sister, and work together and work collectively to ensure that person enjoys his or her fullest rights and enjoys his or her fullest dignity. And Jesus also practiced diversity in terms of his disciples and in terms of his stable, fellowship. The Beatitudes, which we read in Matthew 5 and Luke 6, are at the heart of Jesus's teaching. And they describe as blessed those who are poor, mourning, meek, hungry for righteousness, merciful, clean of heart, peacemakers, and persecuted. And these belong to people of all faiths and no faith. Okay, everyone who is basically striving for justice, striving for truth, striving for peace, is somebody who is serving the larger cause of humanity and is actually living the essence of what true religion is all about. And again, the exhortation by Jesus, now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you should also wash each other's feet. So this is also a call to selfless service, irrespective of irrespective of backgrounds, our affiliations. This is what Jesus is basically calling us to do. And then you have Jesus and dialogue. And for me, when I was reflecting while preparing this presentation, I remember Jesus at this, at the well, with the Samaritan women. And that entire story is an invitation to go beyond cultural and gender biases. The Jews always looked down upon the Samaritans as a mixed race of semi-pagans. And there was a great deal of opposition and hostility between Jews and the Samaritans. The Samaritans were considered to be ritually impure, and so the Jews refused to associate from them. But not only does Jesus ask water of the Samaritan woman, he also conversed with her and stayed with the other Samaritans later on, therefore showing Jesus's ability to transcend cultural and gender biases. Because Jesus basically respected the Samaritans as humans and as children of God. And this is what we are all called to emulate as Christians. Now, the Second Vatican Council also was an important milestone in interreligious dialogue. Vatican II was noted for instituting a twofold dialogue among the Christian churches and dialogue between itself and other religions. And this was really very important because the church of the 1950s was really a stultified space with very little opening to the issues of the world and to other faith traditions. And another important declaration of the Vatican Council was the call that in every age, the church, the statement that in every age, the church carries the responsibility of reading the signs of the times and of interpreting them in the light of the gospel. And that means today, as Indians, as Christians, as humanists, we are called to uphold the rights of people as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and also within the Constitution of India. The Catholic social teaching also emphasizes, it talks about, it basically states that each person is sacred, made in God's image, equal in dignity. Each person is social. All people have rights and responsibilities. We have to care for people who are poor and vulnerable, and solidarity is our call. So these, very, very critical documents also propel us on to engage in fellowship, to engage, to celebrate diversity, to celebrate religious pluralism. And I specifically want to look at 3 principles of the Catholic social teaching in relation to
Brenel, you have exceeded. You have 1 more minute to finish it.
Okay, I'll talk about this. So human dignity, solidarity, and subsidiary in the context of the Muslim community and what they're going through, and the call for us as Christians to stand up in solidarity with our fellow Muslims and every other oppressed person. So basically, in the context of physical hurt, psychological trauma, and persistent dehumanization of Muslims, we are here to stand up to every affront to their human dignity, whether they are carried out by individual actors, communal bodies, or governments. Solidarity also involves standing up for Muslims in the public sphere and working towards dismantling institutional and structural forms of Islamophobia. And when there are attempts to stigmatize, discriminate Muslims and or block their economic activity at the local level, grassroots efforts to resist that can also have an important pushback. And I'll just make my, concluding comments. Pope Francis has been a great advocate of interreligious dialogue, and he has essentially said that, that religion, if religious communities must contribute to peace, we must respect religious freedoms and boost interreligious dialogue. And he said that violence has no basis in religious convictions. Violent movements linked to religion is a result of misinterpretation or deviation from religious teaching. And this is my concluding slide. So I said religion fills a gap in our being which cannot be filled by science, technology, or art alone, because that place is meant to be filled with an irrepressible love, compassion, and kindness, which reminds us of the real essence of humanity. So we must enter into genuine dialogue if we want religious pluralism and encounter with people of all faiths and no faith. We must respect the dignity of every human person and uphold and defend his or her rights. We must, after Jesus, stand in solidarity with all peoples unto the cross. So I end here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brenel Desouza. Alexo, can we have the main screen? Thank you, Alexo. Our 5th and 6th speaker. Our 5th speaker is Dr. Surinder Kaur, and our 6th speaker is Mr. Daraya Karta. A small gist about Dr. Surinder Kaur. Can we have Dr. Surinder on the screen, please? Dr. Surinder?
My camera is on.
Okay, Dr. Surinder, a brief introduction. She is the assistant professor at Guru Nanak College of Arts Science at Sion. She's a member of Sri Guru Singh Sabha, Dadar, the central leading body of Gurudwaras in Maharashtra. She's a regular writer for Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee at Amritsar. She is a writer for the World News and for the Singh Sabha Patrika and other publications. Welcome, Dr. Surinder Kaur, and please give us your perspective from the Sikh view. Welcome.
Thank you very much for such a descriptive introduction. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. As I was hearing to all the other speakers, I have just heard about pluralism. So that's what even we all mean, either it is through dictionaries, through the meaningfulness, that it is inclusiveness, participativeness. We can say a coexistence of various faiths, various beliefs, various religions, whatever name we give, existing in one country which imbibe the texture of the country. This is what is very important, which was woven by Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar on the preamble of our constitution, and India was declared as a secular state. As Madam Brenel said just now, that we need to emphasize more on interreligious dialogue. So I think I feel very proud over here to say that on timeline, my faith, my religion, Sikhism, is the most modern, most new religion because it was founded just 550 years by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The world's oldest preserved interreligious dialogue is in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, 500 years old, called Siddh Ghost. And what generally we see, Guru Nanak Dev Ji had spent 40 years of his life generally traveling almost 3 lakh kilometers of span all over Asia, European countries, and even Southeast also. During his visits, what he has emphasized was this only was interreligious dialogue. He
Bola,
never
Alex.
said anybody to become a Sikh. He said, oh my brother, if you are a Muslim, be a good Muslim. If you are a Hindu, be a good Hindu. If you are a Jain, be a good Jain. If you are a Buddhist, please follow your religion properly. His clarion call was, Sanj kari jai gunai keri, choda. Share the good qualities from all and leave the bad qualities, and that will make you and that will enrich your virtues. This laid the foundation of interreligious dialogue. He had many dialogues, but one of the most famous with the yogis of the Siddh Panth, Gorakhnath, Machindranath, etc. He had a very long dialogue over there. We all know now, whenever any interreligious dialogue or any seminar or any conference is there, what is the basic of that? To first of all, we introduce the speakers and see how nicely the format of this interreligious dialogue was built 500 years ago. When he starts and he asks, Kavan tumhe kya naam tumhara, kaun marak kaun swao? Who are thy? Who is thy guru? And at the end, he laid down the foundation when Siddh asked Guru Sahib Ji, Kavan aramb, kavan mat vela, tera kavan guru jiska tu chela. And Guru Sahib Ji replied so nicely, Pavan Aram Satgur Mat Vela, Shabad Guru Surat Tunchela. There is no body a guru, no body a disciple. Shabad, the word of wisdom, is my guru, and my conscience is the disciple. Hence, we started with interreligious dialogue, and then we went ahead with a very, very, we can say, a turmoil history, because in that time we had seen the political situation was very bad in India, because as we are speaking about pre-independence night today. So here one most important thing is there. I am not going to repeat the history over here. What is the contribution of Sikh community in Indian independence since the time of Mughal era? We are fighting for that. We had given enormous lives for that, along with Guru Gobind Singh Ji's entire family. We have seen hundreds of Sikhs had laid down their life fighting against Mughal. And even we remember Bhagat Singh, Kartar Singh Saraba, and so many others. We won't say that they fought being a Sikh. They were first an Indian, and then they fought for India. That is what inclusiveness, that is what is participation. Again, when we see whenever any problem arises in our country, Sikh community always come forefront to help others. We would have seen the contribution of Khalsa Aid at the global level also, and now in pandemic time also. I'm not going to mention in detail over here, but the number which we are holding over here, because see what we are facing, as Mr. Javed said, there is a threat to minorities. Of course, I accept, and I'm not saying it is from any religion. No, religions never conflict with each other. Philosophies go side by side, they work in coexistence. This is when religions are played with politicians. These people manipulate the virtues for their own gain. This is what is happening in our country. Similarly, being a micro minority community, just 1.97% of the entire population of our country, we have seen, we have surpassed the percentage, we have surpassed the number, and always in the forefront to help the country. This is what we show the participation. But at the same time, my community expect also the participation in rights, participation in the benefits of the country also. Because see, when you people are deprived of justice, to name out, we are yet fighting after 36 years of 1984 also, for when 5,000 people were killed alive on the streets of Delhi. This is what we see, that threat to a community's existence persists, and sometimes we see this drift arises due to such condition. And people are present everywhere in all the communities. Precepts of the communities are great, and I always bow my head in front of that. But I will say, we are very sorry to say, practices in all the communities are now quite different from that. Even my community also. I don't blame others. I blame even in my community also. This reasons where injustice prevails. The reason where people are deprived and behaved as a second-grade citizen, some drifts and threats are present. As Mr. Javed said, of course, even to Christianity, we had seen how Father Robin and his sons were burnt alive in Orissa, Sikhs were burnt alive, Muslims are behaved, and I will say even Hindus are also not safe in this country. Because
Madam,
politicians are playing with that. Yeah, surely, I'm just concluding. I'm just coming to the end. Surely, I'm coming to the end. So this
welcome.
is what we say. I'm not saying that please raise your hand for that and all. But as we all are Indian first and anybody else. Yes? Okay. So just I'll end up my talk over here that please stand for justice. Please stand for each other. Either it is minority or majority, irrespective of any community, just for humanity. I will end up with that notion which my community is practicing from 500 years. In all the gathering, in any of the gathering, wherever we are Sikh meet in Sangat, twice a time we pray, Nanak Naam, Chardi Kala, Tere Pane, Sarbat da Pala. On the name of Nanak, oh Lord, be blissful to entire humanity. And that's all I say, that work for humanity rather than for any community or a country, because it will also bound you. So please work for humanity, please raise up for justice, and please, I will say, imbibe participativeness, pluralism, that is very important. And I end up over here with my words, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you very much.
I
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you.
Surendra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our sixth and seventh speaker. Our sixth speaker is Dr. Darayas Katrak, and our seventh speaker is Madam Shilpa Chedda. First, let us go to our sixth speaker, Darayas Katrak. He is a postgraduate in marketing.
Vinod.
Tell me.
I have to play the song, I think. Wait.
After this here. After this.
Okay.
Darayas Katrak is a postgraduate in marketing and advertising. He can be called as an encyclopedia on Zoroastrianism. He has been imparting knowledge on Zoroastrianism for several years now, and he has been invited by various Parsi trusts to give talks. Trusts such as Deolali Agyari, Wadia Agyari. Every month, he is invited as a speaker on Dev Adar Rose for giving religious talks at Idawala Agyari. Welcome, Mr. Darayas Katrak. Mr. Darayas. He was there just now. What happened?
He is there. Mr. Darayas, you have to unmute.
Yes, he's come on that. Welcome, Mr. Darayas.
Just unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself, Darayas.
Yeah, yes, done it.
Yeah.
Yes, you are 8 minutes, sir. Welcome.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Saeb, for that lovely introduction and for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to talk on Zoroastrianism. Ladies and gentlemen, all religions believe there is a superpower God who created the universe and is looking after it. Different religions call this God by various names. We refer to God as Aura Mazda. Aura means Lord and Mazda means wisdom. The combined words means Lord of Wisdom. In my journey as a religious speaker for the past several years, the young generation wants a reference of whether the God exists. Well, you all are aware that there is a religious book of all the religions that have religious scriptures. And that's the only source we can give a reference from. And in our scriptures, it is clearly mentioned that God was there, He is there, and He will remain forever. It is also said in our scriptures that He is omniscient, meaning He knows everything. He is omnipotent, means He is all powerful. And He is omnipresent, that is, He is present everywhere. He is present very much with me over here, and He is also present very much with you wherever you are. Our scriptures, as I said, also tells us that He has got no shape, no form, no color. He is full of light. I am referring to God. Sabka Malik Ek Hai. I am referring to God. Only the names are different, but He is God. Sabka Malik Ek Hai. So He is full of light. He is visualized as light. The young generation wants to see Him. If they want to see Him as He is full of light, I tell them to see, visualize Him early in the morning, the rising sun, which is the brightest form of light. Now the question asked often to me is, where was Zoroastrianism, that is Zoroastrian religion, originated? And who founded it? Our own, young passing generation, they want to know all that. And I'm sure it will be of interest to you all also. Ladies and gentlemen, our Zoroastrianism originated from Iran, originally Persia. And it was founded by our prophet. Hello, can I continue, please?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I was talking that Zoroastrianism was initiated in Iran, originally Persia, and our prophet Zarathustra Paygambar, he founded it. Zoroastrianism believes that God has created, 7 creation, namely the fire, namely the man, animal, fire, metal, water, plant, and they are pure. Amongst these creations, Zoroastrians regard fire as a supreme purity symbol. Many people want to know that inside of our fire temples, what we have to be worshipped. Ladies and gentlemen, inside our fire temple is this fire. He represents God. According to our Zoroastrian religion, is the Son of God. We are not worshippers of fire. Mark my word, ladies and gentlemen. People here must be keen on knowing a little about Zoroastrianism. And this is the opportunity I'm taking to enlighten you all. Inside there is a fire. Inside our fire temple, there is a fire. We stand before the fire. He is the Son of God. He represents the light of fire. And without this fire, no rituals, can be, performed without this particular fire. Now, something very interesting that I'm coming to is that in Zoroastrianism, it is clearly mentioned that our prophet Zoroaster informed us that there were 2 spirits that existed. One is the good spirit and one is the evil spirit. This is common for all the communities. We respect all the religions. We may not respect the other religions, but we have to respect all the religions. Ladies and gentlemen, Zarathustra clearly told us that there are two spirits that exist. One is, the good spirit, and one is the destructive spirit, that is the evil spirit. But interestingly, he gave the freedom to Zoroastrians to choose from good and evil spirit. Zoroastrians have a liberty to choose the good or bad, but with a caution and a responsibility that if any bad deeds supersedes the good deeds, then they have to pay for it at the dawn of fourth day after they die. Ladies and gentlemen, our Zoroastrian, on the dawn of the fourth day, depending on his good deeds and bad deeds, it is decided whether he will be going to heaven or hell. If his good deeds are more than the bad deeds, then he goes to heaven. And if his bad deeds are more than the good deeds, he will go to hell. I'm given to understand that this concept of heaven and hell is accepted by and large by other religions as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of holy days. I'm not talking about HOLIDAYS. We Zoroastrians are in the middle of 10 holy days. So HOLYDAYS. And our Zoroastrian calendar is also of 12 months. The last month, 10 days are holy days. Holy days, HOLYDAYS, holy days. And we are in the middle of those 10 days. Zoroastrians or Zoroastrian religion believe that on the last 10 days of the Parsi Zoroastrian calendar year, this is interesting to even the other communities because it is not only in our scriptures, but I have done a little research about the others, and I am given to understand that even in other religions, similar practice is being followed. As
So
far as we
many-
are concerned, this is the second last day today. And these souls that descend on the earth on the last 10 days, and if we remember where I'm coming to the conclusion, if they come with a desire, they descend on the earth, come with a desire, who will look after them, who will praise them, who will worship them, who will extend the hand with foods and clothing. And on the 10th day when they go, listen to me now, on the 10th day when they go, if they are remembered well, these souls that descend on the earth, they remembered well. They not only, bless the Zoroastrians who, remember them, but they remember all the people of the city where a Zoroastrian remembers them. Not only that, they also remember the nation, all the people who are of that particular nation, and also all over the world. This is as far as our Zoroastrianism is concerned, and I'm so told that even in Christianity, they call a Souls Day. And even in other communities, I will not go in detail because I don't have that much time. But this is what, the souls that they descend and if they remember well, they bless. And ladies and gentlemen, today, I pray to the Almighty God, who, as I said, is only one. Different religions call him by different names. We call him Ahura Mazda. And I pray to this one Almighty that when they go, when we give them send off tomorrow night, they shower their choicest blessings to not only Zoroastrians, but also to my other non-Zoroastrian brothers and sisters. Bring an end to this, current pandemic situation. Bring peace and prosperity in each and every home of not only Zoroastrians, but also my other non-Zoroastrians brothers and sisters. Yazan Panabad, there is your Shadbad, which translated it means, may the Almighty God protect you all, and may you live a long and happy life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well spoken, Daras Katranchi. Let's go to the next part of our program. We have a small song for you. just to create unity among all the communities in India. Alexo, can we have this song, please? Alexo? Yes, Alexo, please go ahead.
Oh.
Volume. Alexo, let's go to the next part of our presentation.
अभी आ रहे हैं? अभी आ रहे हैं?
हवा बहती है सबके लिए और नदी सबको कहती है आओ
Yes.
प्यार बुझाओ और इसलिए दुनिया
चलने दे।
और किसी भी मर्द का किसी भी वर्ग का हो, स्त्री हो या पुरुष हो, गरीब हो या अमीर, किसी भी वर्ग का हो,
There's no sound. Can't hear.
No sound. Please check.
Yeah, there is no sound. I agree.
ठीक है, Alex. So let's go to the next part. Am I audible? Yes, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Vinod, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Let's go to the 7th and 8th speaker. Our 7th speaker is Madam Shilpa Chedda. She is a postgraduate in multiple streams, including genealogy and comparative religion and philosophy. She is a course coordinator for genealogy, Department of Philosophy, University of Mumbai. She is also the visiting faculty on interreligious courses conducted by various organizations, including the Archdiocese of Bombay. We welcome Madam Shilpa Chedda to speak, give her perspective on the Jain side. Your 8 minutes, Shilpa, Madam. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Catholic Sabha and Archdiocesan Interreligious Dialogue Commission. When we talk about Jaina perspective, as all the dignified speakers have said, we in Jainism, we have a very good theory which tells us about religious pluralism, and that is called Anikantavad. The Anikantvad, the theory that any reality does not have one end. Anything in the world cannot be looked from one perspective. All of us have our different perspectives, and all of us are right. Nobody is wrong because we are looking from one angle, but we should not reject the another angle. When we start respecting people from all the viewpoints, I think we will be in the position of real religious pluralism. Because in the world, when we look around in the universe, nothing is alike. No two flowers are alike. No two roses are alike. We are all different and our perspectives are different. But we are coexisting. Though we follow different traditions, we speak different languages, we come from different nations, we come from different geographical and cultural, social background, economic background, but still we coexist. And this peaceful coexistence, the root of it is the peace within. When you understand, when you look around the nature and we understand that everything is diverse, even in our family, we don't have one common viewpoint. So understanding family as a small unit of religious pluralism, if we look at nations, at world, we can understand this concept very clearly. Shraman Bhagavan Mahavir has been stressing this, and I feel that all the spiritual leaders in the world always have given their teachings to all. It is every aspect of universe, may it be plants, animals, human beings. This is given to all. The divine messages, revelations are not for a particular community or not for a particular human being, but it is for living beings and for entire universe. So when they speak, they do not denote that this my deliberations are for a particular group or for a particular caste. They are for all because they come here and show us the path for the betterment of humankind and entire universe. They show us how we have to stay together in harmony with not our own nation, but with whole universe. And when we understand this concept that harmony within will radiate harmony everywhere. If we are not in that position of radiating this understanding, then we will be always in conflict. And this conflict, which is torturing us, is reflecting and multiplying. We may have our opinions, wrong opinions about one person, which will generate a circle of events. And this circle of events can be sorted out if all of us understand what is this peace. And this peace has to be experienced by each and all of us from within. And when today also, all the religious leaders, the concern of all the spiritual leaders and religious leaders is to create harmony amongst all of us. But when we want to practice, it becomes very difficult to practice these notions. We talk about equality, fraternity, but when we are experiencing in the world inequality, biases, prejudices, we always think these are the principles of divine scriptures. But these divine scriptures are always guiding spirits. And according to Anekantvad, it is said that if there is merit, there is always a demerit. And if there is good, there will be evil. But when you look at evil, think that it is the starting point of goodness. Our perspective, if we change, this good or this evil will not be good or evil, but it will be our fight for the struggle for the best. And when we are climbing this ladder for the struggle for reaching the higher goal, we will understand that when we are on the top, we won't remember what was our struggle and when we started. The success always lies in the principle of unity, because when we are staying in our neighborhood and when we see there is distress, even if we are happy, looking at others, we feel that distress. And if we want to create an environment which is peaceful coexistence of all, not only among the human beings, but among the universe. Today we are facing the challenges of environmental degradation and how it is challenging all of us. It is not the mistake of government or a person or a caste or a particular group, but it is for all of us. We should fight against these things, these which are, when we are hampering the universe, what will be our consequences? Because we are part of universe, we all are taking many things from the universe, our existence is based on the universe, and therefore this principle of Anekantvad teaches us the peaceful coexistence of each and every living, non-living things in the world, and this will create fraternity, equality. A kind of opinion will change our entire environment and our nation, and to the larger extent, the entire universe. Thank you very much. Thank you for providing me this opportunity.
Thank you, Shilpa madam. Thank you very much. Our eighth and ninth speaker, our eighth speaker is Mr. Ezekiel Isaac, who is going to speak on Judaism, and our ninth speaker is Dr. A.K. Merchant, who is going to speak on Baha'is. First, about our eighth speaker, Mr. Ezekiel Isaac. He is a postgraduate in law and several other subjects. He was a former Deputy Registrar, Law Human Rights Commission. He is a member of many interreligious organizations and also a trustee or board member of all these organizations. He is a spiritual master of Times of India speaking tree. He is an author of many books, including the famous book, The Lord is One, in 2 volumes. He is also the recipient of several recognitions. We invite him today to speak on his perspective of Judaism. Welcome, Mr. Ezekiel Isaac. You have to unmute, sir. Unmute your mic. Sir, please unmute your mic. Mr. Ezekiel, please unmute your mic.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes. Welcome.
Okay.
You are 8 minutes.
Shabbat Shalom. First of all, I would like to apologize all of you, because today being Shabbat, I had to conduct the Friday, Shabbat, Saturday evening prayers in the synagogue. So I apologize of you for delay in joining this meeting. You know, today is a very important topic, that religious plurality. And as you know that Jews are the microscopic minority community in India. We are just 5,000 people left all over India, and mostly they are concentrated in Bombay and some parts of Gujarat. You know that as far as Jews are concerned, I always say that Indian countries where Jews have never been persecuted or they have never faced anti-Semitism in India, because that India's attitude that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Atithi Deva Bhava. And when the president of Israel visited our synagogue, media asked me, what is your impression about India and Israel? And I said, Israel is in my heart, but India is in my blood. Because I always say that I'm an Indian first, then Jew second. Unfortunately, when we are talking about the interfaith dialogue, we do not say that we are Indians first. We are divided by different communities. When I come, I say I am representing Judaism. Someone comes, he says I'm representing Christianity. But that Indianness, we must have it. That is very important. Because you know that there are cows of different colors, but we get the milk of the white color. Rainbow is of 7 colors, but when it is merged, we get white color. Similarly, all the religions, they talk about mercy, they talk about compassion, they talk about forgiveness, they talk about repentance, they talk about tolerance. None of the religion says thou shalt kill. No. All religions talk about, you know, all these virtues, and therefore it is very important that in India that we must have and respect other religions also. The holy scripture of Judaism is Torah, the first 5 books of the Moses. And someone asked Rabbi Hillel to explain what is Torah in 1 sentence, and he said, what is hateful and hurtful to you, do not do to others. It's very important. What is hateful and what is hurtful, do not do to others. If you are not able to have praise, you cannot appreciate others, do not say bad words, do not criticize, Do not gossip. That is in Hebrew called Lashon Hora. Then we have the 10 commandments. Out of the first 5 commandments, your duties, obligations to God. The next 5 commandments, your duties, obligations to your fellow men. But for me, the most important commandment is the 5th commandment, thou shalt honor thy father and mother. Unfortunately, in India, the elderly persons, they are pathetic and very miserable conditions. So I always say to my youngsters that please, respect your parents, because after the God's grace and after the God's blessing, your parents' blessings are very, very important. Then coming to the Leviticus, love thy neighbor as thyself. You know how many faults are within you, but still you love yourself. Similarly, you must love everyone, despite you notice faults within them. Then we have the Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam is what? How to change the word, how to amend the word, how to alter the word. That is the responsibility of the Judaism. And of course, the prayer, you must have the prayer, because prayer is a ladder which takes us, whether it is from Judaism, from Zoroastrianism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, because major 9 religions, 5 religions have taken shelter from foreign land. Judaism, then Christianity, Islam, Baha'i, and Zoroastrianism. All these 5 major religions have come to India from the foreign land. But we have been living in India peacefully, without coming into conflict with each other. I have like 10 commandments for today's conference. I have also formulated my own 10 commandments. The first commandment, follow one, respect all. Second commandment, concentrate on similarities, commonalities that exist between the different religions. Do not criticize the differences. Try to respect those differences. Third commandment, visit all holy places of other religions, and also try to read and understand tenets, precepts of holy scriptures of other religions. Fourth one, interfaith dialogue can help us to overcome religious divisiveness and eliminate hunger, poverty, illiteracy, and discrimination. But I always say, I have attended thousands and thousands of interfaith meetings. I always say that we want interfaith dialogue, but at the same time, it is my personal opinion that we need intrafaith dialogue. Within your own community, there is any harmony. Take any religion. So we want badly intrafaith. Intrafaith is very, very essential. The 5th commandment, religion must never be used for inspiring hatred and instigation for violence, and neither as means for pursuit of power. 6th commandment, we want holistic education for our children, value-based education, which has the moral and ethics, which had the human rights. That's 7th commandment, awareness need to be created to protect our nature, environment, including water. 8th commandment, we should reaffirm and rededicate ourselves to the universal values of love, brotherhood, compassion, and selfless service. 9th commandment, discrimination of women to be eliminated, and we must empower women. Children's rights are also to be protected. And the 10th commandment, let the religions of the world unite for peace in common endeavor. And at the end, I would say, oh God, you taught us how to fly in the air like a bird. You taught us how to swim like a fish under the water, under the ocean. But kindly, God, teach us how to behave like a human being on this earth. हम क्या बनाने आए थे, क्या बना बैठे, हमसे तो अच्छे परिंदे हैं, कभी मंदिर में बैठ जाते हैं, कभी मस्जिद में बैठ जाते हैं. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you very much. Well spoken. The ninth speaker for today and our final speaker, Dr. A.K. Merchant from the Baha'is. He is a General Secretary, Temple of Understanding Foundation, a trustee of the Baha'is community in India, visiting faculty, Center for Cultural Research and Training, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. He is the author of several books, including Communal Harmony, India's Greatest Channel. He has represented our parliament at the World's Religion Conference. He was also invited by Pope Benedict to Interfaith Conference at the Vatican in October 2011. Welcome, Dr. A.K. Merchant.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good evening and namaskar to all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, very much. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So interesting, very interesting indeed. I'm grateful to the Bombay Catholic Sabha as well as the Archdiocese of Bombay. And in fact, I've had the good fortune of also being part of interreligious discourse and dialogue in the presence of Cardinal Oswald as well as my good friend Archbishop Felix Machado on several occasions. So from the proceedings this evening for the last almost 1.5 hours, I'm not naming all the people because of the paucity of time, but what we realize is that religions actually have played a very fundamental role in the way the human civilization has evolved. Despite whatever historical aberrations, wars, killings, etc., yet religion is a very fundamental and integral aspect of our lives. It's tragic that sometimes we get bogged down with semantics. We are speaking today in English, but if I were to speak in Hindi or Bengali or Gujarati, then I would be using that vocabulary which will be commonly understood by people of our country. For me, religion, dharma, deen, mazhab, all they actually refer to the same divine outpouring of divine guidance. And this guidance has come to humanity from time to time. So there is a golden thread because the source of this divine guidance is one. As we have heard it said by all the distinguished speakers, I'm sorry I have not taken all their names, nor have I taken the names of all the organizers. But when I look at India, the story, the Indian subcontinent has been a cradle of many civilizations, ancient and modern. And the rich diversity of its cultural, social, religious, and political milieu has always been a source of energy and admiration to enterprising leaders of men. And no wonder, being at the crossroads and the confluence of so many civilizations, today we have a society that's not only very, very diverse, but it's also plural. While diversity is intrinsic in creation, just like the flowers in a garden, or like the different cells of a human body, because each cell has a very important role to play. And the cells cannot quarrel and say, for instance, the cells of the eyeballs can't say to the cells of the toenails that I'm superior, or the cells of the heart cannot say that I'm superior to the rest of the cells of the body because I'm doing work non-stop. If I were to stop beating all of you, the person would be dead. So friends, we need to understand and appreciate the contribution made by each of the dharma or religion or spiritual tradition that is integral aspect of our civilizational ethos. And from what we have heard this evening, so much of positive energy has been generated. So the Baha'is also believe, as is symbolized by our lotus temple, whoever has visited Delhi must have seen it. It talks about the oneness of the Creator. It talks about the oneness of all the religions. and it talks about the oneness of humankind. So for us, from time to time, there are shocks, there are occasions when there are far-reaching upheavals that actually are designed, part of the overall spiritual design to awaken humanity and make it conscious of its interdependence. So for me, regardless of the 75 years of our independence, this process of development, advancement, enrichment of our collective lives, the three protagonists that constitute a society, individual, institutions, and the communities, they are all actually being sort of revived, redeveloped, and they are being infused with a new life. As Baha'u'llah put it, the founder of the Baha'i faith, a new life is, in this age, stirring within all the peoples of the earth, and yet none had discovered its cause or perceived its motive. So what is happening to humanity? This 7 billion plus people. And as a Baha'i, I don't simply believe that religious pluralism is needed to strengthen the nation. I believe it's needed to strengthen the whole planet. If the planet does not survive, then how can India survive? So as has been rightly pointed out, there are huge crises, there are huge challenges that surround the very survival, that actually put the very survival of our human race at stake. So respected and distinguished friends, for me, whatever advances our country has made, it has to be acknowledged. We have had good successes in terms of information technology, agriculture, space science, infrastructure development, trade and business, scientific advancement, and the list can go on. But there are questions that remain unanswered. And there are three questions I'd like to pose before the audience and also the distinguished speakers. What can we do to promote the societal resilience to the forces of disintegration? Because the forces of integration are working, doing their share of their work, and the forces of disintegration, on the other hand, also are leading to crises upon crises and collapse of the very institutions and structures that help human civilization to march forward. The second question is, what methods bring about systemic change? Because we must acknowledge one thing, that whatever may be our religious background, the time has come when we must choose those elements in our religious traditions that are compatible with the requirements of a global society. We live in an age of the planetization of humankind. And finally, how do we mobilize resources? Without resources, nothing can be accomplished. And today we have seen that in tandem with the tremendous amount of resources that the government provides to address the global health pandemic or the coronavirus in our country, so many religious communities, religious spiritual traditions have also come forward, and they have done tremendous amount of service. So this spirit of altruism has to be strengthened. And given the limitation of time, I firmly believe, as a member of the Baha'i community and also in my work as the General Secretary of the Temple of Understanding, that the movement to redefine cultural and religious norms in the light of the exigencies of justice and sustainability is well underway. Some people are conscious and many are not conscious. They are just simply surviving. Yet, in the different measures leading to cultural institutions, including governments, education and media, as well as businesses, religious organizations, and civil society, all of these are bringing the values of sustainability to the forefront of public consciousness. Nevertheless, broader visions of human purpose and prosperity are required in order to move from the periphery to the center of public discourse. And I must congratulate and appreciate whatever endeavors and hard work that has been put in to bring us all together this evening on the eve of India's 75th Independence Day. It is becoming clear that the pathway to sustainability will be one of empowerment, collaboration, and continual processes of questioning, learning, and action in all regions of the world, not simply India alone. It will be shaped by the experiences of women and men, children, the rich, the poor, the governors and the governed, as each one of us is enabled to play the rightful role in the construction of a new society. As human capacities for justice, reciprocity, and happiness are brought to center stage, I'm just concluding. As human capacities for justice, reciprocity, and happiness are brought center stage, the sweeping tides of consumerism, unfettered consumption, extreme poverty, and marginalization would be reduced and finally fade away altogether. So this, for me, esteemed speakers and organizers, is the challenge. How, recognizing the interdependence of the entire human race and accepting its oneness, accommodating the good that is there and the nobility of the human spirit, we can all work together. And for me, this is the message that the nation, the citizens of the country must imbibe and accept if we want to strengthen the contribution of the religious communities in this vast country and strengthen the spirit that makes us a great nation state, that makes us, as people use the vocabulary, a Vishwa Guru in that sense, because of the ancient civilizations that we have harbored, we have had in our subcontinent, and we have accepted every new form of knowledge. So the healthy interface of scientific and technological advances with an enlightened religious ethos and spirituality will bring about far-reaching changes and help to strengthen the nation state. And to me, majority of the Indians are all peace-loving. They are people of goodwill. They always have this, virtues in them. We are not yet so much into the kind of materialism that we see in some countries. And we must cherish our civilizational ethos. So the well-being of humankind, its peace and security are unattainable unless and until its unity is firmly established. This is what Baha'u'llah says. The earth is but one country and humankind its citizens. So a new ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam must become the mainstay of our religious and spiritual discourse. With this, I rest my case and once again express profound gratitude to the organizers and to all the distinguished religious who have addressed the meeting, the webinar this evening. Thank you very much.
Dr. Merchant, can we have you on the screen?
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not visible.
Why?
There must be something wrong with this one. So he was there, but then he got to
I managed to
now
get,
we
okay.
can see him. Yeah.
I was on the screen, but I thought, okay, I'm visible now. Maybe
no,
I think this.
Your talk was very interesting and very inspiring, and it holds all the communities in the country together. Thank you, Dr. Merchant.
Yeah, and
Now,
please make sure the spelling of Baha'i is correct. You know, it's BAHA''I. I did send a message to Advocate Brenel Desouza about that.
My apologies, sir, on that.
Okay.
As we come to the end of our program, with all these inspiring talks on religion and community building, as leaders of our society, it becomes our moral duty to encourage our youngsters and encourage all the people in our country to come together, live in harmony for the betterment of society and for the betterment of humanity. As we end this program, there has to be a vote of thanks, which is very, very important. And I call upon my colleague, Mr. Stanley Fernandez, to give the vote of thanks. Stanley, all yours. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening,
Stanley.
everyone.
Yeah.
Good evening. I was really engrossed that I did not unmute myself to the various talks that were going on. I think very, very interesting. And therefore, on behalf of all on this live program at WebEx and also YouTube Live, I would first like to thank Bombay Catholic Sabha and the Archdiocese Interreligious Dialogue Commission for really coming together and conducting this program, and more importantly, choosing a very relevant topic, religious pluralism as a strength of India, which we feel is a vital link, the real hidden strength of how independence was achieved and how India stands out today on the eve of our Independence Day. This was brought out very, very beautifully by our respected speakers through their own religious perspectives, and the message that each of us got, at least especially I got sitting here, is that we have to rise above everything and be a one and truly independent India. And therefore, at the risk of repetition, I would, from the bottom of the heart, on behalf of everyone here, thank Professor Vibhuti Patel, Dr. Brenel Desouza, Mr. Javed Anand, Dr. Gautham Nigam, Mr. Daresh Khatra, Dr. A.K. Merchant, Mr. Ezekiel Isaac, Srimati Surinder Kaur, Mr. Surinder Kaur, Ms. Shilpa Chaddaji, for the wonderful sharing. And the best thing about this entire event was that it was conducted by citizens and the civil citizens, and not necessarily the head of religious institutions. And that is the uniqueness about this program, for which we thank the organizers. In a special way, I want to thank Vinod Narona for really keeping the time and moderating the entire program well, maintain the time schedule, in spite of all the technical glitches that is there. And this program cannot be successful because without the audience and the citizens who are right now live on WebEx and YouTube. And they have taken the time out to attend this program. Probably the message they get is they will have to continue to share this active and vital strength of religious plurality of India to their families and friends. I think that is the very, very important thing for all of us to carry. And I would thank you for your presence in carrying this forward. Last but not least, I would like to wish each and every one of you and your families a happy Independence Day, and particularly the Parsi community, a happy New Year, which is on 16th in advance. With that, I say good night to all and a very, very happy Independence Day. Let all of us enjoy independence in our hearts, minds, and actions. May God be with all of us.
Yes. Praise
Thank
the
you
Lord.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you,
Thank you
each
very
and
much.
every one of you contributing for the success of today's event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Today's, for your information, today's program is available on YouTube. You can go
YouTube
on.
also. Acha.
Yes, BC Sabha YouTube channel is there. You can go and watch it, or you can share it with your colleagues. Thank you very much, and happy Independence Day to all.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
All.
Thank you and happy
Independence Day.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.